Reward America is a nonprofit. It's a very large nonprofit that is working right now with the federal government and a lot of states trying to electrify the hell out of this country. If we were to electrify everything, we are going to have this concept of shared abundance, which really means sustainable prosperity for everybody, right? If you look at the energy stock worldwide, about 60 to 65%, if you believe Princeton University, can be electrified. To electrify everything, we can reduce emissions because we could make it more efficient. Electrification is the actual way of doing efficiency. And that is because, the way we heat our homes, for example, there is like a 70% energy waste in that. Like if you think about from generation to the point that we use energy, final energy use truly is, 70% waste. A lot of the decisions that we make at home impact, emissions. And that is because we decide on what cars we drive, how we heat our homes, how we cook our food. We make a ton of decisions at the kitchen table. I mean, we need to think about how much money people spend on energy. And we look at, the poorest people in this country and how much money they spend in utility bills, it's just ridiculous. So we were actually, if we were to electrify everything in the United States, we estimate that we'll be able to save about $1,800, per American household. And if we were to do that, we would actually transfer wealth from the utility company to all of these families. So this could be the largest wealth transfer in history for this country, and that's what we mean with shared abundance. So, we are mission-oriented. We believe in this crap like nobody else, I promise you that. But let me tell you a story. I was a very happy dude until somebody called me from New York and said, dude, we have this huge ambition. We have this great idea in the city of Ithaca in New York because we decided that we want to be carbon-free by 2030. This is 2021. So it's like, okay, so you want to be the first city to go absolutely carbon neutral by 2030. And they were like, yes. So what do you have? Nothing. I was like, awesome. So like, okay, what do we need to do to really reduce emissions? We're like, okay, 4 things, energy efficiency, electrification, decarbonization of the grid, and then eventually carbon removal. So we thought about it and we created a plan where we're like, okay, we could just be timid about this thing and we could implement this at 25%. Just go after some households and electrify those. We could also, think about, transportation. We could think about, water heaters, not only, heating and cooling, or we could actually go crazy and start thinking about municipal buildings, transit systems, garbage trucks, and we started thinking, okay, we can do the whole thing. And then suddenly we realized this is doable. This is actually doable. If you look closely, you will see that, we don't need to do everything to get things going. We need to focus on some, very easy to reach goals. So we were to replace like heating and cooling systems in every household with heat pumps. If we were to, start promoting the use of electric vehicles, and we start deploying infrastructure for that, and we start working with the utility company so we could have the right infrastructure to support that, and we were to change, water heating systems and induction cooking, all of that, we would be 67% all the way to where we needed to be, and we estimate that we could do this in 7 years. So suddenly this crazy, absolutely ridiculous plan that we had of decarbonizing the entire city was within reach. But the problem is this whole thing, we did an exercise with a building, like we wanted something to look like this, and we went to like one of the poor neighborhoods, and we identified this 200-year-old household that was occupied by a low-income family. And because of remediation, weatherization, electrification, and that stupid little wire that connects the house to the utility pole, we needed to pay $50,000. And, these are people that were not making that much money, right? So how do you do that? So we started looking, okay, what if we were to not do this house? What if we were to do all of the houses that we have in the city? We would turn this into a market, because suddenly, if we were to aggregate all of those, we would look at this as a single project. But if you were to create this in a way that produces a return, then it would be a market for investors. So suddenly we created a market for investors. We went to do a pilot program with 1,000 buildings, and we need $100 million. So we were like, oh crap, how are we going to do this? Well, it turns out that investors, they want 10% return, and that's a ton of money. But if you think about it, that's $10 million. And then we started looking at the state government and the federal government, and we thought about, okay, we were to do the whole city, how much we get in incentives? And they were like, about $10 million. And they were like, holy crap, that means that we can use the money from the federal government, the state government, to buy down the cost of capital and then pass a 0% interest loan or lease program to the consumers. It's a bit more complicated than that, but at the end of the day, that's what we did. What we learned is that this thing is possible. We just need to change, the way people think. We need to change the way government look at this. We need to change our approach in general to climate change. At the end of the day, we want to really drive this towards shared abundance. We need to do things very differently. So go electric. Thank you.